One of the many things I love about yoga is how strong it makes me feel. And for me, when I feel strong in my body, this translates to my mind as well. For the majority of my life, I have lived with anxiety, and that has been to varying degrees, from not being able to go out at all to just living with a sort of general low level hum of anxiousness. But when I discovered yoga and when I began to practice yoga, I found that the stronger I became in my physical body, this translated into my mental strength as well. And my anxiety diminished quite substantially. So I was able to go on and do other things, like making YouTube videos, for example. So today I'm sharing with you some of the postures that really do help build strength and make you feel physically and mentally strong as well. And as this is a yoga practice, we are just going to start by tuning in to our breath and just beginning to notice how our body is feeling today. So just take a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you. And all we are going to do is coordinate some movement with our breathing. So let's take a lovely big inhale and lift the shoulders up to the ears. And then as we exhale, just let them drop down. On our next inhale, we lift the arms up towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, dropping that right hand down towards the earth. Inhale, lengthen through the body. And exhale, gently bending over towards the right hand side. Inhale, draw the arms up. Breathing out, soften down towards the left. Another big stretch on our inhale as the exhale draws us over. Inhale, the hands return to the ceiling, touching the palms together, and as we exhale, draw them down towards the heart. We are going to try and stay in tune with our breath as we flow through some of these strength-building postures today. So when you're ready, come over onto all fours, starting in our cat-cow as we take the knees underneath the hips and the wrists underneath the shoulders. If we can keep our gaze towards the floor, this extends through our back. And as we take a breath in, we lift the tailbone and we ripple that movement through the spine as we look forward. As we exhale, we turn the other way, starting the movement from the base of the spine, curling it all the way around as we tuck the chin towards the chest. Just doing a couple more here. Just feeling some movement into the back of our body, maybe stretching across the chest as well. We can even move the hips from side to side if you want to. Just make your cat-cow your own. And as we return back through our neutral spine, making sure our hands are firmly planted underneath the wrists, we are going to extend our right leg out behind us. Just keep the toes to the floor, push the heel away so you're getting a lovely stretch down the back of that calf. From here, we are going to take that right leg up to hip height. Try and keep the hips level. Imagine you're trying to push your foot against a wall behind you and keeping your belly button pulled in towards your spine. So we want to try and keep a nice strong band around our center, around our core. We can stay here if this is enough for you, keeping that gaze to the floor, or maybe we can extend our left arm in front of us, just holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Returning that left hand and that right knee towards the floor. Taking our left leg out behind us now, pushing the heel away. So to begin with, getting a beautiful stretch down the back of that leg. And then we're taking that left leg up to hip height. Not swinging it too high, and just trying to keep strength through the back body here. And then when you're ready, maybe extending that right arm in front of you. So we have a long line from the tips of the fingers on that right hand all the way down to the heel on that left foot. Just holding it here for one more breath. And then returning hand and knee to the floor. Sitting back on the heels or in child's pose if you want to, just to give your wrists a little bit of mobilization. We will be doing a few down dogs and on all fours. So if the wrists do begin to complain a little bit, just take a break, Give them some movement, give them some love, and then come back into it when you're ready. Coming back onto all fours. We are going to repeat that little sequence and just add something extra into the middle as well. So to begin with, we are extending our right leg behind us. Find your foundations by pushing into your hands, your left knee, as we take that right leg up, extending that left arm in front of us. From here, as we breathe out, we are going to see if we can draw the left elbow in and the right knee into center. As we inhale, we find length through the body. 2 more times here. We exhale, we round the spine, we squeeze everything in, and the inhale, we find length. Last time, drawing it in, nice big squeeze. Inhale, finding that length, returning left hand and right knee towards the earth. Taking our left leg out behind us now. We find the foundations. We're drawing our belly button in, protecting our lower back, extending that left leg up, right arm comes out. Keep the gaze to the floor, stay long through the back body. As we breathe out, we draw elbow into knee. As we inhale, we lengthen. We exhale, we draw it in. We inhale, lengthening. That is a very tricky word to say out. Last time, taking it in, extending out this time. Hand, knee, back to the floor. Take the bottom towards the heels, maybe coming onto the elbows to give the wrists a bit of a break in your child's pose. Adding on to our strength building moves, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So returning to all fours, we tuck our toes underneath us and we lift the hips up and backwards. Try and keep the hands where they are. Move the feet around to a position that works for you. And you have as deep a bend in those knees as you need to find length through the back body. The strength here comes from pushing the earth away. So we're not allowing ourselves to sink into this pose. We push the earth away with our hands and we try and get an equal amount of pressure into the feet as well. So we're finding balance. We're noticing the breath, trying not to hold the breath. A deep breath in, a long breath out. And then from our downward facing dog, we're going to shift our weight forward. So you might need to move your feet a little bit till we come into plank pose. The shoulders are over the wrists. We're squeezing the glutes, pulling your belly button in towards the spine, holding it here. You might find your center begin to shake a little bit. And then from your plank, little soft bend in the knees, lift the hips up and backwards, and we come once more into our downward facing dog. See if we can move between these postures just a couple more times. So we breathe in, we come forwards, give everything a nice big squeeze, and as we exhale, we come back into our downward facing dog. Don't worry if you think you're breathing in and out at the wrong time. Just see if you can coordinate one breath with each movement. Coming forwards, squeezing, trying not to let your back or your hips dip towards the floor, and then taking it back into your downward facing dog. Drop the knees to the floor. Once more, take it back into that child's pose just to give your wrists a little bit of a stretch. And if child's pose isn't for you, either sit up onto your heels or even just sit down on your bum. So we are really working on building that strength through our upper body and through our center as well. Let's see if we can link those few postures together, returning once more onto all fours with our gaze down towards the earth. From here, we're going to extend our right leg out behind us and our left arm in front of us. Taking a breath, we squeeze elbow to knee, squeezing it into center. Inhale, lengthening it out, returning hand and knee to the floor. Left leg lengthens out behind us. Right arm in front of us, squeezing elbow into knee. Inhale, lengthen, dropping hand, knee to the floor, keeping those hands planted where they are as we tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and backwards, coming into our downward facing dog. Take a breath in, lengthen forward into plank. Give everything a good old squeeze, holding yourself in your plank position for 3. Keep breathing for 2 and 1. Lifting back into your downward facing dog. One more time, coming forwards into plank. Holding it here for 3, 2, and on 1, dropping our knees back to the earth. This time we're going to take our knees slightly behind our hips, so they're not stacked under the hips. Be aware of the back. You might find yourself arching. See if you can maintain your strong neutral spine. And then from our hands, we're going to come down onto our forearms. So our elbows are roughly under the shoulders. We're going to interlace our fingers here and push our forearms firmly into the floor. We're going to do a few dolphin moves now, where we bring our body forward so the chin comes forward of the wrists, and then we push back. Always trying to keep the back in a long line so we're not dipping down, if you can see that. So we're going to come forward, pushing into the forearms, really pushing the earth away from you so you're not letting your head drop down towards the earth, and then push it back. Let's just do that one more time. We come forwards and we come backwards. Now, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, we can do it from a downward facing dog position. Something else I'm going to mention as well, if you're wearing long sleeves, like I am, you might find yourself slipping a bit on the floor. So I'm actually going to pull my sleeves up, which will give me some more purchase and enable me to stay lifted out of my shoulders and not sink down towards the earth. Okay, so we come back into that forearm position. Elbows roughly underneath the shoulders, pushing the forearms to the floor. And then rather than having the knees behind the hips, I'm going to tuck the toes and come into this downward dog position. Exactly the same movement. We come forwards and we come back. 2 more times if we can. Forwards and back. Last time, bring it forwards, really push the earth away. Take it back, drop down onto your knees, come back and have a lovely rest in your child's pose. So give it a go. Start off on your hands and knees, coming forwards and backwards, and then maybe try lifting up onto the toes, see how that feels in your downward dog variation. And then if that's too much, just come back down onto your hands and knees again, or rather your forearms and knees again. Shall we link them all together in a final hurrah? I think that would be a great idea. So let's start once more on our hands and knees. Take a lovely deep breath in. Let's come into a few cat-cows just to move through the back of the body. Inhale, we go one way. Exhale, we take it another way, all the while remembering the breath. Don't let your breath escape you. This is, after all, a practice of mind and body, extending our right leg behind us, our left arm in front of us. As we exhale, we draw the 2 together, and then we lengthen. Coming on to the other side, taking our left leg out, our right arm in front, draw the 2 together, extend and lengthen, return to the floor, tucking the toes underneath us, lifting ourselves up into our downward facing dog, planting our feet, keeping our hands anchored to the earth. As we breathe out, we come forwards. As we inhale, we ripple it back into our downward facing dog. 2 more times, we come forwards and we take it back. All the while keeping that core engaged, listening to the smooth flow of your breath. Take it back into downward facing dog. Drop the knees to the floor, slightly behind the hips as we come down onto our forearms. Let's take an inhale as we come forwards, pushing the earth away through the arms. Exhale, taking it back, coming forwards and taking it back. Maybe even coming onto the toes for the last two as we come forwards into a plank. Exhale, pushing it back. Last time, forwards, back we go. Drop the knees, sink it back to child's pose. Take a nice big breath in through the nose, maybe sending it out through the mouth. Listening to your heartbeat and your breath and just letting everything return back to normal. When you're ready, coming into your seated position where we began our class. I do like the symmetry of ending the class in the same position in which we started it. So finding a comfortable seat, whatever works for you. How is your upper body and your core feeling after that brief practice? Let's reach the arms all the way up towards the ceiling, touching our palms together. And then as we exhale, just opening the arms wide, squeezing the shoulder blades behind us, finding that openness through the chest. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the arms in front, giving ourselves a big hug and rounding through our spine. As we inhale, we're going to open the arms again. Nice big breath in as we exhale once more, maybe an opposite cross of the hands as we give ourselves a big hug. Last time, opening out. Nice big breath in. And as we exhale this time, returning our hands towards our heart. I hope you enjoyed that little burst of strength. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and do share this video with anyone else that you think would enjoy building strength in their mind and their body. Join me soon for day 5, where we will link everything that we have learned over the past 4 sessions together. Namaste.